Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. This is part 1 of 3 of me finally filling in the book journal spreads that were blank in my book journal. This is about a 6 to 7 hour process that I did over the span of like 2 to 3 days, where I just sat down and finally filled everything in. You're getting about an hour and a half of it. This is filmed at normal speed, but I've sped it up to 4.5 to 4.7 times speed, just so it doesn't look like I'm literally writing for 6 hours. I started this journal in September of 2026, and I'm hoping to get through May of 2020. I started this in September of 2025. I'm hoping to get through May of 2026 in it, in maybe even June of 2026. It depends on how my reading is. Currently, I'm sitting at 220 books, question mark, for the end of the year. I will update you on that when I get there. A lot of these spreads, honestly, were books that I loved, and I put the cover and the stats in, or I put the cover just in, and just never put my review in because I was like, I'm just going to glue this in. This is all I have time for. I will come back, and I never came back. So the first one I'm doing is Quicksilver. I love this so much that I put the stats in, I put the cover in, and thought I'll come back to it because I want to go through my copy of Quicksilver, find my favorite quotes, and put it all in there. That never happened. So here I am adding in a quote. I used I have an old phone that was my mom's that I made my MP3 player basically, but I have it hooked to the Wi-Fi so that everything an iPod Touch could do, this phone can do. So I looked up a quote and just went with the one that mostly resonated with me, and then I added it here. Now, I want to apologize for the crappy filming here and the shaking. It's going to do that a couple times because I erased, so I could do faux calligraphy. But I was fighting with my filming so much recently, and that's why I haven't filmed more videos, because I have been fighting with getting it just right. And I was filming them at 0.5 zoom out, so that I got the full layout, and then I would just zoom in on what I was doing. Well, when I zoomed in, you couldn't see what I was doing, so I kept getting frustrated, and I did not film any of my book journal or my bullet journal setup because I was so frustrated. Well, what I decided to do here is I realized I didn't like what I had done here. I didn't like the way this filming came out, in particular, what you're watching right now. So I went back to the drawing board and figured out if I dropped my camera down, did it at one time, zoom, and then I marked off my filming area, like what was on the actual screen, on the table with washi tape that I don't normally use. And then I turned it sideways because I like to write at an angle anyways. It worked so much better. So if you can hang in here for the crappy filming of the first part of this video, I promise it gets better about probably like 3 or 4 minutes in. I was gonna scrap. I really want to let you see me put in Quicksilver, but out there, I am using a Mr. Pen pen that I just recently got. 5mm pen. I've used this pen everywhere. I use it in my daily bullet journal, and then I use this in this major journaling marathon, and I will say that it worked out wonderfully. It lasted me the entire time, and it's still writing, so it is definitely worth the price I gave. I will say, however, that once I turned it sideways and started to use it that way, it did skip a little, but it wasn't awful. It wasn't anything that I thought that impacted my enjoyability of the pen. So yeah, I will say that if you read my writing here, you will be spoiled. Do not read my writing. I do spoil things. Now, if you're just looking If you're not looking, you don't care about being spoiled, go ahead and read. I won't give you any spoilers in the voiceover, but you will be spoiled if you read my writing. Quicksilver, I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I bought it when me and Ollie went on vacation, like in May. We went on a staycation to Dallas and spent some time with her other mother, and I bought it then. I had started it while we were waiting for her to come out of work, and it was okay. Like, I wasn't hooked. I didn't get hooked until she gets arrested. And this is not spoilers for the 100. Like, she gets arrested and taken to the queen for stealing the gauntlet that she does. That I was like, okay, I need to know more. And then I hit the ending, and I cannot wait to get my hands on Brimstone. I'm just not willing to give $30 for it right now, and I want them in paperback too. I have the paperback version of Quicksilver, so I would really like the paperback version of Brimstone too. So I'm probably going to wait a little bit to order it because, yeah, I don't want to have to pay for, or I want to have to pay for a hardback copy. So you just saw me skip a whole bunch of pages, and that's my Cozy Mystery series. I read those so quickly, back to back, that sometimes the mysteries get convoluted and like I mix them up. So sometimes I'll go back and re-listen to them to make sure I know which one I'm talking about. Or I try to finish my book journal spread before I move on to the next one. I do not count that in my overall total though, and for my overall total, I finished 220 for the year. So yeah. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing my review for King of Ashes by S.A. Crosby. I am adding some washi tape I got from from Daiso to it, which honestly, it was the best place. If you have a Daiso near you, definitely go look for washi tape. It was a wonderful place to get washi tape. Anyways, back to King of Ashes. I have read All Sinners Bleed by this author and absolutely fell in love. I loved his storytelling. I loved the way he did his characters. I loved the racial tones underneath. Like, I loved it. In the paranormal aspect, hands down, was wonderful. So when book of the month, my last book of the month box I have ever gotten from them, I won't ever go back. I realized they were doing King of Ashes. I was like, that has to be my book. That has to be my book. I got it in July, and I ended up listening to it. It has to be in September, October. I loved it so much. It is like the best parts of a Tyler Perry play / movie, but in book form and done better. Like, it has the familial drama that I want. It has the dumb ass character that just keeps fucking up. No matter what they do, they just keep fucking up. And instead of wanting to take responsibility for their fuck up, they just want everybody else to fix it. Like, when I say it had everything I wanted, it had everything I wanted. Then, not to mention Raymond, the fact that he acted like he was dumb as shit, but wasn't, had me intrigued. Nevaeh, at the end of it, I was so happy Nevaeh did what she did. I was so proud that she took her life back, basically. However, I won't spoil it, but I will say what happened to their mother, I called it from the beginning. From the very beginning. As soon as I figured out the brother had a drug habit, I knew what happened. But I loved it so much. In that ending, I want more. If he would write a sequel to what happens after, I'd be down. Totally down. I would sit down and read it all. I would love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. Now I'm just flipping through to see what I'm working on and what I have left. At this point, this is when I realized it was going to be quite an ordeal. Okay, so here's where I'm flipping through, realizing the Cozy Mysteries I'm not going to be able to fill back in, and just kind of giving you an overview of what I do have done. Next, we're moving on to the other cozy series that I started that I love, and that is Haunting Danielle. This is the it takes place in the Marlowe house, and I'm not going to give you a synopsis of the one I'm currently doing because it is number 33 in the series. Yes, I have 32 in the series. Now, Danielle ends up inheriting the Marlowe house from her great aunt. She knows nothing about this house. She knows nothing about what it is. She has recently just lost her husband and sold their advertising business and decided to move into the Marlowe house. She's going to fix it up and live there. However, the problem is when she goes into the house, Walt Marlowe, the original grandson of the man who built the house, is still there in ghost form. He starts yelling at Danielle to get out of his house. Danielle can see ghosts. Her best friend Lily, who is with her, does not know this. So she has to hide the fact that she can see the ghost and act like he is not speaking to her, even though she's looking right at him. So he's like, I know you see me, talk to me, and she refuses. So she sends Lily back to the hotel and ends up on the path of solving Walt Marlowe's murder. I love this series so much. If you have never read it, I highly, highly recommend. And if you are in Texas, the Houston Library has them all on shortlist, so you can get them without having to put a hold. They have unlimited copies of them. I highly recommend it. The same thing with the camper series I was just talking about that I'm not filling in because I can't remember them. They also have limited copies of those, and that's more of a southern comfort read for me. This one takes place on the Oregon coast, and life has changed for them. Danielle obviously goes on to solve many murder with the ghost help. The ghost can never remember who killed them, and so they're giving them broken information they're running off on. It reminds me of Ghost Whisperer. If you've ever seen that show, that's what this series is definitely reminding me of, and I think everybody should read it. Now I'm doing the page for Two Twisted Crowns. This one I started physically reading One Dark Window. I was like, meh, I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm just going to try it, but I don't think it's for me. Then I decided to listen to it. Fell in love. I love the magic system. I love a good tarot-based magic system I'm learning. So when I finished that one, I knew I wanted the second one. The second one came in. I was able to get my hands on it, and I loved it so much. Now, do I remember how it actually ended? No. I've read a lot of books since then, but I do remember absolutely loving it, and I will own a copy of both of them. That's how much I did enjoy it. Now, you're going to see here in a second, I'm going to end up adding a quote to the bottom of this because I hate a blank page. And I don't mean I hate a blank page. I mean, I don't like it when my page feels blank. When it feels empty, it bugs me. So I could tell as I'm writing the synopsis here that my review for this one wasn't going to be very long. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I would reread it. However, I don't remember enough of it to write a full lengthy review. So I decide that I'm going to add 2 quotes at the bottom, which you're going to see me input. And that's a trick I love doing, especially as a book that I already know that I want to reread, that I really enjoyed. I just don't have I don't have the memory for it. I will just add quotes, and the quotes usually jog my memory. I'm definitely more of a vibes person than a words person. So when I think of Two Twisted Crowns, what I think of is being at home. I had to be home the day I was reading this to let the exterminator in my apartment. So I remember like picking up the house and like the exterminator being here and all of that more than I remember the actual plot of the book. say what you want, but that's just how my brain works. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm penciling in the quotes that I chose. No, I'm not going to read them to you because honestly, I can't tell from this recording what it says, and that's what I meant by the filming's going to get better here in a minute, because this is not bad. You can actually kind of read my writing, but like Quicksilver, you can read any of it. This you can actually kind of read, and it gets even better as the video goes on. So I'm proud of my my progress here. But yes, I added 2 quotes. Right now I have 1 penciled in, and then I go in and add the second one because I realized I had enough room for it. Yeah, I did do that so that the white space was filled up. So I'm going to add that, and then I'm adding the review for this because I knew I wouldn't be able to do a full review because of the fact I didn't remember enough of it. I enjoyed it, and I do want to read it. I do want to own a copy. I just know that I didn't know enough. Like, I couldn't remember enough to do it. I'm definitely more vibes person than I am words. So, yeah, we're adding the quote there, and then I'm going to add the review. I just want to say that if it seems I'm repeating myself some in this voiceover, it's because my phone keeps losing the recording. I had been sitting here for 10 minutes doing a recording, and I was in the middle of a very touching part of this, which we'll get to in a minute, and it came up, told me that the phone had 10% left. Cool. Well, that shut off the recording. And so guess what? I lost it all. And I am very frustrated at the moment because 10 minutes talking is gone, and I don't know what I said here. It was probably profound and thought-provoking, but guess what? It's gone. Because I'm rambling. I did not write any of this down. I didn't want to write any of this down. I do remember talking about how I love a good quest book. That this second part of this book was definitely quest focused, and I love a good quest where they have to follow the steps to beat the big bad. I love it. Absolutely love it. And the nightmare in her head, oh, it wasn't profound. It wasn't anything really unheard of, but I loved every minute of it, and I love a good tarot based magic system too. And so I love this series. Like I said before, started the first one, didn't think I was gonna like it, but ended up loving it. So yeah, I'm sorry about the shaking. I'm erasing the pencil on that quote. And now we're about to move on to the Lady Trent series. If you have never read the Lady Trent series, but you have read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, you need to read Lady Trent. They could be sisters. They are ambitious and untactful, and I love them. Lady Trent is a world-renowned naturalist who studies dragons. She brought the study of dragons out of the mystical era it was in and brought it into actual scientific study. She is now writing a memoir of what she did, of her life, basically. And the first book, we start off meeting her when she's very young. Her father and mother are trying to get her married off, and she doesn't want to get married. She wants to read. She wants to learn, and her father regrets giving her the freedom to do any of this because now she's I don't want to get married. Go fuck yourself. I want to learn more. And so her father's trying to get her married off to a good husband, basically. Get her, a good standing in society. And she ends up going to see dragons. They have somebody important, I can't remember exactly who, has dragons that they have actually captured. So she gets to go see them for the first time and she's so excited. She runs into this young man who is from a good family and they get to talking about dragons. And she thinks, oh fuck, I just fucked that up. Dad's going to kill me. Instead, she gets a marriage proposal. He tells her it can be in everything. It can be just on paper. It does not have to be that serious. But I do not want to marry a trophy wife. I don't want to marry somebody boring and uninspiring. I want to marry somebody with a brain. And you are willing to talk to me about something I am interested in. You're interested in it too. I desperately want to do this with you. And so she agrees because, yet again, she's going to get, what she wants. And in the first book, she talks him into taking her on an expedition with her. And it turns out to be everything she thought it was going to be and more. She loves it so much. And if you have never read this, but you've read Emily, they both have that ambitious streak in them where they know so much about their field of study that they just want to share it with you. And when you get something incorrect, they want to correct you because they want to make sure you have all the information you need. They want to share their wisdom. They both have that streak in them. So she spends a lot of her time like correcting everyone and telling them the way they should do this or the way they should do that. And it's not because she's an ass, even though it does come across that way and she understands that. It's just because she's super interested and super passionate about the subject and just wants you to know more about it. And I love it so much. So much. I love the fact that, just like Emily, they are willing to go to the ends of the earth to learn more about the subject they are talking about. When it comes to their particular subject, they are down to learn anything and everything about it. They want to know it all. They just want to study everything and get every bit of it in them. And I loved it so much. I've only read the first two, and I will be reading more. Not again. You didn't hear that the first time. I will be reading more. Depression's kicking my ass. And when I get depressed, I want romance and cozy mysteries. I want to hang out with my favorite characters and watch them solve their 14th dead body in a row. Or I want to watch two people fall in love and then choose one another over and over again, no matter what bullshit is thrown at them, no matter what mistakes one makes. They choose each other again and again and again. They wake up and choose to fall in love over again. They wake up and choose to love their person. I want to do that. And so that's what I've been doing. And if you see me pause here in a second, I did this on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. So my little one's at home with me. I spent a week with her straight actually at home. It was wonderful. It was peaceful. But she's talking to me while I'm doing this, so I have to pause, get her food, or literally honestly answer questions or watch her do the same spin 4 times. If you're a parent, you understand. And that's what I was doing there. But I didn't finish the next book in the series because I wanted cozies and romances. And now I'm sitting here recording this now it was 9 o'clock. Now at 9:15 at night because my apartment's too quiet. My mom has her. She's out of school for 2 weeks. I can't afford to take all that time off. So I have to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. And so I asked my mom if she would keep her. And they hadn't seen her in a month. So they were more than excited to have her. But now the apartment's too quiet. And my thoughts won't stop. I'm going through my own shit. But yeah. I'm recording this because I miss her. And I knew the voiceover needed to be done. And why not read, or why not do a voiceover while I'm trying not to think. Okay, so this is the next day. I am filling out my book journal or my bullet journal for the day. I figured why not share that with you too while I knew I was fixing to start filming again. And this just is literally a running to-do list of all the things I need to get done while I was off for the next couple days. And we, like I said, I needed to get the house picked up and stuff. So I didn't sit for 7 hours straight to do this. I would sit and film for about an hour, edit that down to 15 minutes, get up, do what I need to do, come back, film for about an hour, again, edit it down, go back again, film for an hour, that kind of thing. It actually worked out perfectly, honestly. And I only had to clean up the mess once. I just enjoyed it. But so there is my Lady Trent series. Now we're fixing into For Whom the Bell Tolls. Here I realized that my watch was taking the zoom in and zoom out, so I immediately undid that. And that, what you just saw in my book journal, is all the quotes from Whom the Bell Tolls that I can actually say that I had written out when I finished it. I was at lunch at work, and I still had another half an hour on lunch. So I sat down and just literally every quote I had highlighted or fell in love with, I went ahead and wrote out on the 2-page spread. So it made it a lot easier to do this book journal spread for it. If you've not read this one yet, it's what we read for. It healed something in me that I didn't know existed. As readers, we all read to escape. We all read to learn something new. We all read to take a ride on a story to a place we've never been or have been before and just want to revisit. From Whom the Bell Tolls follows Lily. Lily has cancer and she knows she's gonna die. She refuses any chemo because she doesn't have insurance. And the shit's expensive and she doesn't want to leave that for anybody else. Her family begs her to get the chemo and she's like, no. So what? So I can be sick and in pain for my last days? Nope, not doing it. So Lily dies. And you find out pretty quickly that Lily, that's when our story starts. It's when Lily dies. When she dies, she ends up on the other side. And she starts to learn what things really look like over there. And she gets the news that she gets to decide how she is viewed and where she wants to go. Everyone is viewed on the same criteria, basically. No matter what religion you choose, no matter how you choose to be judged, you are going to be judged based on the same character. If you're on the same basis, were you a good person? Were you kind? Did you go out of your way to be kind to others? Or were you just a fucking ass all the time? Which one was it? So when Lily goes through, she finds out that she gets to go to paradise. Meaning she gets her own paradise that is tailored to Lily. And she does not want to go to heaven. She has her own religious trauma when it comes to that. And so she's told that she doesn't have to do that, but she does have her own paradise or whatever. And Lily, all of her life, based on what she believed and who she was told she was going to hell. And she heard that a lot. And within the first 100 pages, Lily decides to take herself to hell and see what it's like down there. And she starts the help desk, HELLP desk. And she decides to start helping demons with some of the more unruly souls in hell. And she learns it's customer service, but in the best way possible. If you've ever had to do a customer service job where you want to knock the shit out of somebody because they were just acting entitled and stupid, that's what Lily gets to do. And she falls in love with it. And it's just, it is everything you want it to be and more. She has a job. She has something that she enjoys doing. And she has all the books she can read. And I just want to point out, she does have spicy books there. I'm just saying, there are spicy books there. And her paradise does give her a personal massager too. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, yeah. But Lily makes her life there. And she meets Sharky. Sharky has to go through something that no child should ever have to fucking go through. And I have never wanted to murder fictional characters before. This book made me want to murder a fictional character. Like, I have wished death upon them in the story, but never have I wanted to transport into a story so I could murder somebody ever in my life, and this one made me do that. There is a TikTok series, if you're curious. It's the Hell's Bells series, and it's about the help desk, and I know it's coming to an end pretty soon, because she's currently writing book 2, and this book doesn't, like, the series, the help desk, the series itself does not spoil the book, in my opinion. I have not seen later, like, recent episodes. I think I haven't seen any of the episodes since like September, October. So don't quote me on that, because, like, if there's some from November, December, they may, but any of the older ones don't ruin the book. But if you're wanting to get to know the characters and just kind of dip your toe into what this is like, and her sense of humor, and her sense of her writing, then definitely give the TikTok series a shot, because it's a minute video. I mean, if it's not for you, you can scroll on. You're not spending, $16-17 on a book that might not be for you. But like I said, I loved it so much. I cried. I mean, bawled, boohoo, bawled. There are very few books that I annotate to the brim, to the point where I'm like, if I want to reread this, I'm gonna have to buy another book. I did this one. There's only one other author I've done that with, and I don't want to. We don't talk about her anymore. But her books I always have annotated to the hilt, because I love her characters and they feel like coming home every time I read a new book. This one's gonna be that way. I can already tell. This is gonna be that way, and I will probably have a second copy because I'm gonna annotate it again. I loved it so much that I decided to buy a coworker copy, because I want to give the coworker a try too. I wanted them to give it a try, and they wanted to read it, so I also I picked them up a copy of it. And as you can see, my review was a lengthy one, because I loved it so much. I think that even if you're non-religious, you would enjoy this. It's weird to say, but reading about a soul who ends up in paradise, choosing to go to hell to help, and hearing how in this fictional world, how hell and heaven are depicted, and how they are shown, has made me a more religious person. It has made me curious. It's made me actually pick up a Bible for the first time in years. It's made me question a lot of things, but in a good way. I don't think that's going to be everybody's experience, but I will say that I hope and I pray that the other side is like this. I really do. Because if so, that means things aren't as black and white as we sometimes want to make them out to be. Okay, next review. I read The Witch and the Vampire. This one, it was okay. It's not one that I'm going to reread. I think looking back, I was questioning as I was sitting there filling this out whether I wanted to edit the rating I gave it. Like I said, it wasn't awful. It just, how do I explain? It is a queer retelling, Rapunzel retelling with vampires and witches as your main paranormal creatures. You have a world where vampires are evil. They live outside the village. The village is protected by a magical force field, basically. And the witches keep it up. You have a young witch who is a fire witch who is fighting against vampires because they're evil. One day, 2 years ago, her mother is killed by a vampire, and now she's on the hunt to figure out who killed her mother. And then on the other side, you have another she was a young witch. Her mother turned her into a vampire and has left her locked in tower. Her hair obviously kept growing, even though she's a vampire. And she is trying to break out of her mother's control. The whole Mother Gothel thing. This one was genuinely forgettable, but I remember enough details. It's really weird. Usually when a book is forgettable, I give it 3 stars because by the time I get to the end of it, I can't remember how it started. That's not this one. This one just felt like every YA trope that I like to read shoved in a book. And then we made it Rapunzel. So, I will finish the rest of this review in the next part because we are at the end of part 1 of my 3-part series of filling my book journal in before 2026. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my rattling. I will have part 2 up as soon as possible. I'm not going to give you an exact date because, like I said, going through shit, and I'm using this as a distraction at the moment. So, yeah. But I hope you enjoyed. Listen to me rattle and come back for part 2. Turn on that notification bell because it will let you know when I post it. Bye, guys.